There is no original six. There is an original one. The Montreal Canadiens. Everybody else is an expansion team.
Are you as entertained by the Montreal Canadiens and their
Yes.
resurgence this year as we are?
Yes.
Because look, like I appreciate a good Canadian hockey team, obviously, but respect and credit needs to be given to the Canadiens for really being their own world. And we saw it with the Demidov arrival, and I'm not talking about just the arrival at Pearson, which I
love that.
honestly
I
thought
loved
was,
it.
right, like,
I loved
cool.
it.
Deranged.
I
Yeah,
loved
no,
it.
but
I
kinda
loved
cool.
it.
If it was respectful, it's Beatles-esque. Like, and that's
100%.
that's
Yes.
rad.
Yeah. Beatles Come to America. That's exactly what it was. Thank you. That's 100% what it was. Like,
Welcome
Tony
back,
Marinaro,
Paul
like,
McCartney. You're Ivan Demidov.
Both stink on the back
in the
check.
back in the USSR. Back in the USSR. So, like, first of all, that video, that stream that Tony put out there, I absolutely loved it, and so did Habs fans. Like, you look at the numbers of the people that watched that. Like, I was at a local hockey rink. My kid was practicing, and I got it on my phone. Like, I can't stop watching. It was great. I honestly, like, I'm like, oh yeah.
Absolute
Like,
sicko.
I want to see Demidov with his suitcase. I don't know.
How do you explain if somebody says, "What are you doing on your phone?"
I'm waiting for a 19-year-old to show up to the airport to get his suitcase.
So what I do if I'm like looking at my phone and I'm just clearly scrolling Twitter
Yeah.
or texting Pete and someone says, "Get off your
Yeah.
phone," I can technically say I'm working. So do you say there,
Yeah.
"I'm working," and they're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"No,
Oh,
you're
dude.
stalking a child."
I use that card with my wife all the time. Like, oh, I got to go to work. She's like, you got to go watch fucking hockey games. Like, stop. Like, you're going into your office to watch hockey games. Like, let's just stop with
There's
the work. I
no
remember once
difference.
That's
what she said to me once. Like, she's an artist, and we were up late. And I was watching like a Calgary Vancouver late game, and she was doing wood burning or something. And she like, I finally figured out what you do for a living. And I said, oh, this will be interesting. She goes, you don't actually do anything. And I go, where's my fainting couch? She's like, no, you don't do anything. All you do is talk about things that other people do. But you don't actually do anything. All you do is talk about the things that other people. And I'm like, I got no response to that. Okay. But to the point about Montreal, their own universe. Yes. Maybe you've heard me say this one before. I know it pisses people off. And here I go again. There is no original six. There's an original one. The Montreal Canadiens. Everybody else is an
It's
expansion.
actually the
team.
original two now because of Utah.
Yeah, the Utah Hockey Club. I don't know if you saw, they're selling original six stuff. So they're in the original six now.
I know. Yes, I know. We'll qualify them. But like, honestly, they are. First of all, I love having that building. And again, we'll see what happens here. Like, Columbus is good on Columbus. Like, that's where my heart is. That's where a lot of people's hearts are. Like, we're all Team Columbus, and probably Team Calgary as well. Was tough to see them bow out yesterday. Although Dustin Wolf tried everything in that third period to keep his team healthy. Like the Montreal Canadiens, like that building, those fans, it's an interesting Canadian marriage of French and English all coming together around a hockey team. That history, that kind of passion that you saw at Pearson. Like, I don't look at that and say that's crazy. I look at that and say, if every single market in the NHL had fans that were that passionate, this league would be on fire. Like, trust me, people may shrug it off from the team and go, oh, look at these idiots. Like, this is so ridiculous. You want that. You want your fans to be that crazy about your team that they show up at the airport for your first round draft pick. Welcome to town. I know it can be overwhelming for some people, but it's true. All the notes that Montreal hits on and off the ice are perfect, whether it's the ceremonies, and I've said it before, there's two places in the world where they do ceremonies properly. One is Buckingham Palace, and the other is the Bell Center. That's it. Those are the two where they do ceremonies properly. And then if you guys have had the Saturday night 7:01 Eastern Bell Center experience, where they drop the lights and Coldplay hits, and it's Ghosts of the Forum, and even just saying it, like, I'm not even like a Habs fan or a fan of it, but like tingles, like those hockey tingles, like all of it. It's like no other experience. Honestly, that's why I'm like thrilled that this team might be back in the playoffs, and the singing and the chanting and game night in Montreal. Like you can go anywhere. You go to like a cafe, go to a restaurant, go to an art store, old Montreal, walk down the cobblestone streets. Everybody's talking about the game. Like everything in the city revolves around the game. They pushed back the French language debates today, and we have a federal election coming up in a couple of weeks. Today's a French language debate, tomorrow's the English language debate, and they pushed the time back to 6:00 so Quebecers could watch the Montreal Canadiens game. Has happened before, Gilles Duceppe in 2010, I believe, but still, like that's the level of passion these people have for that team and this sport. I love it. I absolutely love that Montreal is knocking at the door and for their fans' sake, lock this one down. But again, man, I really want Columbus. I really want Columbus too. So I'm so split on this one. I'm so split.
It's a win-win because obviously we love both teams, or Pete doesn't love, but Pete respects and has experienced Centre Bell, I should say. So he knows how. And when you were talking about like go to a Saturday game, we half of our show is us saying, "Hey, I went and I did this thing," and then talking about it for 45 minutes. Centre Bell is so indescribable that I don't even think we've attempted it. We're like, you just gotta go and fix you plays, and I don't know if they light the ice on fire anymore, but it's amazing. But we spend a second on it because it's a fool's errand to try to give the blow-by-blow of what that experience is. It truly is just an all-encompassing, amazing, like in this day and age of we're always on our phones or whatever, it's one of the few times where you look around and Katy Perry voice say, "What a wonderful world." Like, where am I right now?
That's a really good way to put it, that the words haven't been invented to describe it. Like language is insufficient. Like they're just something, like you just have to have the experience. Whenever anybody asks, like, new hockey fans, like, what do I have to do? You have to go to Montreal. You have to go to Montreal and you have to have that experience and you have to walk around. And the other thing too is that's really valuable that I love doing is talking to old timers. Talk to old timers that have been around and were there for different eras, and talk to you about players and personalities and French media and controversies. Like when you get there, like you'll see it like at bars and cafes, like people just talking about hockey. Find the old timers and talk to them about what it was like watching Shutt and Lafleur and Dryden and all of them and Scotty, and every year with the parades, and if they went to that Red Army game, the Tide game, which many say is the greatest game ever played in the history of the sport, or if you get someone that went to that Summit Series game 1 at the Montreal Forum where Canada goes up 2-0 and they're laughing on the bench. Next thing you know, the country's in crisis because the Soviet Union has just beaten Canada. I know Canadians love saying that Game 8 was the biggest game. No, Game 1 was the biggest game because that was the birthplace. I still maintain this. That was the beginning of international hockey. That was the beginning of legitimate international hockey, best on best at the highest level. Game 1 at the Forum. Talk to the old timers. They'll tell you, like, there's knowledge there, there's wisdom there, and it's part, to me, it's part of that experience. It really is part of the Montreal experience. Talk to old timers when you get there. You'll get some great stories.
Jeff Marek, we're smiling like idiots because the Canadians and that whole experience always generally makes you smile. But we're also smiling like idiots because there is no one better to discuss this ridiculous league in sport with than you, my friend. Thank you so much for continuing to come on with us.
It's a big, lovely, dumb, goofy, stupid, lovable sport. I am with you guys 1,000,000%. Thanks, boys.
That's why we do
Always
it.
good to be on.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
We all silly like the mayor.